Non-performing assets full course. Session 7 full 1-hour lecture script. Global general knowledge and panoramic popular science of global non-performing asset markets. Opening introduction 0-5 minutes. All previous sessions focused on transactions, due diligence, domestic asset portfolios, and profit realization. Session 7 breaks national boundaries, regional transaction practices and on-site profit operations. We will analyze non-performing assets from a global financial macro perspective. Non-performing assets are not a unique product of China. They act as an economic buffer and cyclical regulator for the global financial system. As long as credit expansion, economic fluctuations, corporate restructuring and household debt exist in any country's financial system, non-performing assets will inevitably emerge. In short, mastering the global NPL system allows you to fully understand the complete logic of economic recession recovery, risk liquidation and industrial restructuring worldwide. This lesson will not cover trading skills, intermediary operation or landing implementation. Its sole lie explains global general knowledge, international standards, cross-country model differences, cross-border capital logic and underlying global industry rules. After finishing this session, you will fully grasp why non-performing assets are the first to erupt and the last to be liquidated in every global financial crisis, why the US adopts a fully market-oriented model, Japan and South Korea rely on government bailout, and emerging markets are domina led by foreign capital acquisition, why NPLs are core allocation assets for top global hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds and asset management giants. 2. Global unified definition and international classification standards. For NPLs 5-15 mins, 10 minutes. 1. Globally recognized official definition IMF standard. NPL non-performing loan. The unified global standard set by the International Monetary Fund defines non-performing loans as credit assets where borrowers fail to fully repay principal and interest for more than 90 consecutive days, or debtors face substantial solvency risks with a high probability of default. This standard is uniformly implemented across 190 countries, regardless of territory, banking institutions or currency types. 2. 3 global universal asset categories. Different from Shen's 5-tier classification, the international financial system adopts a simplified 3-category framework applicable worldwide. 1. Performing assets. Borrowers repay principal and interest on schedule with extremely low default risk. Core high-quality assets on banks' balance sheets. 2. Underperforming assets. No overdue period exceeding 90 days, yet cash flow deteriorates and debt repayment pressure rises. These are pre-NPL assets. 3. Non-performing assets. Loans overdue for over 90 days, litigated defaults, bankruptcy, liquidation or permanent insolvency, all fall under non-performing assets. 3. Global scope of non-performing assets. Far broader than domestic categories. Many people hold a misunderstanding that NPLs only include housing loans and corporate loans. Global non-performing assets cover all types of financial bad debts. 1. Overdue corporate and retail bank loans. 2. Defaulted corporate bonds and high-yield junk bonds. 3. Overdue cross-border trade receivables. 4. Non-performing finance lease and consumer finance assets. 5. Sovereign external debt defaults and local government bad debts. 6. Defaulted financial derivative products. Summary. Any financial asset with unfulfilled agreed returns is universally recognized as a non-performing asset globally. 4. Intrinsic core value of global non-performing assets. Foundational general knowledge. To the general public, NPLs equal junk, bad debts and losses. 2. Global financial institutions. Non-performing assets equals discounted legitimate creditor rights plus arbitrage opportunities amid economic liquidation plus definite returns during cyclical recovery. Consensus among top global capitals. We earn growth returns during economic booms and profit from non-performing assets during economic downturns. 3. 4 main global non-performing asset market systems. 15-35 mins, 20 minutes core lecture. This is the core global knowledge of this session. All national NPL disposal models fall into 4 categories, with no alternatives. Model 1. The United States fully market-oriented, complete market liquidation model, world's most mature system. The US is the birthplace and rulemaker of global non-performing asset industries. Core features. 1. Minimal government intervention. Full market-driven liquidation. Banks are prohibited from carrying bad debts on balance sheets for long. They must divest, dispose, and liquidate non-performing assets rapidly. 2. Private asset management firms and hedge funds act as primary disposal entities. The world's leading NPL players are all headquartered in the U.S. Blackstone, Oaktree Capital, Apollo Global Management, BlackRock. 3. World-leading securitization scale asset portfolio. Bulk sales are rare in the U.S. The mainstream practice is NPL ABS, debt for equity swaps, and derivative packaged circulation. 4. Mature crisis disposal mechanism. During the savings and loan crisis, the dot-com bubble, and the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis, bad debts were quickly divested and sold at a discount via market-based transactions to restore the economy. Core logic of the U.S. model: expose risks rapidly, discount assets quickly, attract capital to take over, and restart the economy efficiently. Advantages: fast risk liquidation and economic recovery. Sound financial system. Disadvantages: severe short-term economic pain, high unemployment, and sharp asset price declines. Model 2. Europe: strictly regulated, law-based, slow liquidation model, centered on the EU, the UK, Italy, and Spain. Core features. 1. Extremely complete legal systems and highly standardized procedures. NPL disposal in Europe prioritizes judicial proceedings, arbitration, and bankruptcy liquidation. All operations follow legal frameworks, with zero opaque transactions. 2. High on-balance sheet retention ratio for banks, leading to prolonged liquidation cycles. European banks tend to carry bad debts on books and write them off gradually instead of selling assets at steep discounts, like U.S. institutions. 3. Huge regional disparities. Northern Europe maintains stable economies with ultra-low NPL ratios. Southern European countries, including Italy, Spain, and Greece, face chronically high non-performing loan rates. 4. Unified cross-border supervision. The European Central Bank enforces unified NPL indicator management and disclosure standards for all European banks. Core logic of the European model: prioritize stability and legal order, sacrificing efficiency to maintain financial security. Model 3. Japan and South Korea: government-led, policy-backed bailout model, classic East Asian framework. Massive non-performing assets emerged after Japan and South Korea's asset bubble burst, creating the world-famous state-owned bad bank system. Core features. 1. Massive NPL accumulation after real estate and stock market bubble collapses. Japan suffered a dual crash of real estate and stock markets in the 1990s, generating massive corporate and banking bad debts. 2. National official disposal institutions established: Japan's Resolution and Collection Corporation (RC), South Korea Korea Asset Management Corporation (KAMCO). The state provides funding and credit endorsement to Uniform Lie Dive Street National Bank non-performing assets. 3. Government capital injection to prevent systemic risks. Large financial Institutions are not allowed to collapse. Nationalization and capital injections. Eliminate bad debts. 2. Stabilize the financial system. 4. Extremely long disposal cycles. Japan spent 20 years fully liquidating NPLs generated during its asset bubble era. Core logic of the Japan-South Korea model. Stabilize society and financial systems to avoid systemic collapse. Trading time for risk relief. Model 4. Global emerging markets high growth, high risk foreign capital dominated model. Covers Southeast Asia, Latin America, Africa and Eastern Europe. Core features. 1. Rapid credit expansion and volatile economies. Generate NPLs at an accelerated pace. 2. Weak local disposal institutions. Insufficient capital and immature industrial systems. 3. The vast majority of non-performing assets are acquired at low prices by European and American financial institutions. 4. Unstable policies and imperfect legal systems bring huge arbitrage space, alongside extreme risks. Classic global capital strategy. Developed economies provide capital to seize NPL dividend opportunities arising from economic crises in emerging markets. Summary of 4 global models. Core knowledge to master. 1. United States. Market liquidation, fast turnover, securitization driven. 2. Europe. Legal liquidation, standardized and stable, long cycle. 3. Japan and South Korea. Government liquidation, policy backing, trading time for risk relief. 4. Emerging markets. Crisis liquidation, foreign capital acquisition, high risk and high return. 4. Universal global disposal instruments for non-performing assets. 35-45 mins, 10 minutes. 4 standard tools are adopted worldwide, regardless of regions or systems. 1. Debt restructuring. World's top mainstream method. No debt collection, auction or litigation. Renegotiate repayment terms, interest rates and principal write-offs. Applicable to large enterprises and cross-border debtors with sovereign debt liabilities. 2. Bulk asset portfolio transfer. Global secondary transaction foundation. Financial institutions package batches of non-performing creditor rights and sell them at a discount to professional asset management firms. The asset portfolio model we discussed is the fundamental global practice. 3. NPL securitization, high-end core tool for European and American institutions. Scattered non-performing assets are packaged into standardized financial products for circulation, trading and financing in global capital markets. This is the core profit model for large international asset management groups. 4. Bankruptcy liquidation and judicial disposal. Ultimate risk resolution channel. When debtors completely lose solvency, final risk liquidation is completed via judicial liquidation, asset auctions and debt offset recovery. All global NPL transactions fall under these 4 categories of disposal tools. V. Underlying logic linking global NPLs, economic cycles and financial crises. 45-55 mins, 10 minutes. Advanced financial core knowledge. All global economic crises are essentially non-performing asset crises. 1. Economic boom cycle equals credit expansion cycle. Prosperous economy, banks expand lending, enterprises take on heavy debt, households increase borrowing, large-scale credit expansion lays hidden risks for future non-performing assets. 2. Economic downturn cycle equals NPL generation cycle. Declining operating revenue, rising unemployment and broken cash flows trigger concentrated defaults, bankruptcies and surging non-performing assets. 3. Crisis outbreak cycle equals mass NPL default cycle. Mounting bank bad debts trigger liquidity crunches, financial institution collapses and cross-border financial crisis contagion. 4. Economic recovery cycle equals NPL liquidation cycle. Non-performing assets are disposed at discounted prices, acquired by institutional investors and restructured through debt negotiations. After risk release, the economy resumes growth. Centennial Iron Law of Global Finance. No country can achieve economic recovery without completing non-performing asset liquidation. The rise of all developed economies and maturity of all financial systems are realized through iterative upgrades after repeated NPL liquidation cycles. Cyclical consensus among global capitals. Bull market. Focus on equity assets, stocks and growth opportunities. Bear market. Focus on fixed income products, bonds and non-performing assets. Non-performing assets represent the only counter-cyclical track with definite returns in the global financial industry. VI. Global industry trends and advanced cognitive. Conclusion 55-60 mins, closing 5 mins. Build a top-tier global macro perspective in the final 5 minutes. 1. Non-performing assets form an everlasting global industry as long as credit, debt and economic volatility exist. NPL transactions and profit opportunities will persist permanently. 2. Rising entry barriers for the global NPL industry. Early profits relied on information and regional gaps. Future profitability will depend on mastery of international regulations, cross-border disposal capabilities, and global capital resources. 3. The largest global opportunities over the next decade lie in emerging markets. European and American markets are approaching saturation. Southeast Asia, Central Asia, Latin America and other emerging regions will generate the largest incremental NPL dividends worldwide. 4. Ultimate cognitive upgrade for individual practitioners. Non-performing assets are not merely bargain hunting or judicial auction opportunities. They constitute the core self-repair, iteration and regeneration mechanism of the global financial system. Mastering global NPL logic enables full comprehension of economic cyclical fluctuations, financial risk transmission, underlying capital arbitrage rules and the fundamental laws governing national economic rise and fall.